Hey Cancers, welcome to your June 2019 General Tarot reading. This is a zodiac spread and it covers all the basic areas of your life, and it should give you a forecast for the month, what to expect, what might be coming up. So I'm going to start your reading. I've already shuffled your cards and laid them out. And in your first house, Cancers, you have a new money card. So people are going to get a vibe from you that you want to earn more money. You may want to invest differently. You may be putting feelers out for prospects, for new jobs. This is the card of I want to earn more. I want to begin to build wealth. So people are going to see you very much connected with money for the month of June and wanting to manage money, earn more money, shoot for higher expectations about your financial status. This is the card, like I said, of building wealth. So it's not usually just getting a new job. It's on the path to making a lot of money, or in your own mind, more money or a great deal of money. And in your second house of money, you have the recognition card, the success card, the reward card. So some of you may actually be getting bonuses. You may have received a bonus. You may have received a nice check back from the IRS. If you're invested in stocks, they're doing well, or you're hearing really good news that you picked the winners. This card can also be, um, you know, winning competitions, so you're beating out the competition. But there's a sense that, your colleagues consider you smart and successful, that you know how to manage things and you're talented, and this is affecting your money. It's a card of recognition and reward. So many of you may be surprised at how the numbers look for 401k, for making a move from one stock to another, and it was a smart, good move, and you'll receive benefits from that decision. But you're perceived in the month of June as being successful, in terms of how you manage your money. Now, in your neighborhood, this is the card of siblings, cousins, next door neighbors, and it can also be online communications, because the social platforms are like neighborhoods, Facebook, social media. And you have a card of an argument or a separation. So it doesn't have to directly involve you, Cancers, but it could be you hear your neighbor got a divorce or they're breaking up. You might hear from a sibling or a cousin that they had a fight with a significant other. It's the card usually where there's a third person that's meddled into two people's lives, and it's caused a disruption, or, sorrow or anger, for emotional reasons. And so you may be hearing about a separation or a breakup in one of those departments in your life. Now, in your home, you have a beautiful card, Cancer. This is the card of sentimentality, of memories, and that's a very Cancerian, part of your nature, where you hold your memories dear, and, your innocent relationships, your emotional relationships mean a lot to you. So some of you may be actually getting visits from childhood friends or people from college. You may be in touch with them. Some of you, your kids may be home for the summer, and it's bringing back memories and reminiscences of the past when they were children and when they were young. For others of you, this can be a card of just, being very sentimental in the month of June, because, Cancer is an emotional card. But this is fine. This is, a card that suits you. And so I think there's going to be a lot of happiness and innocence in your home emotionally, not just for yourself, but for others. You may take out albums, you may look over old videos of the family. It's very much a card of looking to the past, but with happiness and with innocence. And there's friendships or relationships that you're attached to, and you'll be thinking of those in the month of June. Okay, in your fifth house, this is the house of your children, and it's also the house of new love. So for those Cancers that have had a new relationship in the last 3 years, that's what I consider a new love. And children, it's obvious. So we'll start with the children. And this means that some of your children are doing very well financially. Some of them may have just bought a house or are going to buy real estate, buy a home, and it will be generationally passed through the family. So it's not like a cabin in the woods. I guess it could be, but it's a little more, you know, expensive, let's say, because the Ten of Pentacles is a card of, wealth. And if it's not that some of them are doing very well financially, some of your children, you may decide to make them executors in your will, and this would be, one of your children maybe having that responsibility where they would be responsible for the generational wealth and the passing it on to the future generations. Now, sorry guys, my cat is up here. I think you can hear him. Now, if it's your new love, this person may also be just buying a home. They may be interested in real estate. They may be interested in banking, in getting a loan for a big ticket item. So they could be a person that's involved in real estate or finance or banking, but it's a person, who wants to do something with their money, and they're good with money, they've accrued it, and they may be investing in, like I said, property or, setting up a will for their children. This is very much about, generational money. Now, in your workhouse, you have the Down and Out in Beverly Hills card. So things may be slow, especially for those of you in sales. Cancers, for the month of June, the summer is starting. And so if any of you are in sales, this indicates that, your bonuses or your commissions will not be, healthy big checks in the month of June. For others of you, someone may have left the workplace and you feel very lonely, or cut off without them. Many of you may feel unsupported emotionally in your workplace, at your job. And others of you just feel that, you aren't earning enough, and that's why you have looking and searching for better jobs or better money prospects in your first house. So if things are really slow or you're undercompensated for your skill, your labor, your efforts, your time, and you feel like, it's falling on deaf ears, many of you will be motivated to pursue a better position at another, place of a company, another site, even another field of endeavor, because you are feeling right now either very unsupported and left out in the cold. You could be working with someone who's feeling that way, and it will affect, how you feel, your morale at the job. Or, like I said, the money and the commissions are not what you want to receive, and you're dissatisfied, and it doesn't feel like anyone is getting your point. So many of you will be pursuing a new place of work or a new job. Now, in your relationship house, your seventh house can be any partnership. So for some of you Cancers, it can be children, it can be colleagues, it can be spouses, it can be relatives, family members. One of your partners likes to stir the pot and tends to be like a negative personality. They don't really openly compete with other people. They're kind of nasty. They like to put people down to make themselves look better. They can stab people in the back. They're catty. They like to gossip. And so one of your partners it's a heads up, is a negative energy. And if this is at work, it makes sense. You have a 5 at work and you have a 5 here in the partnership house. But these are like the two worst fives in the tarot deck. And so, if it's not, at work, if people are gossiping or they're negative, try to, deal with them as little as possible in the month of June, because you have some really nice energy in your home. And, it's summer and there's no reason to get pulled into, the gossip mill or the drama, especially when it's negative and people are negative. Or one person, one of your partners, is negative in the month of June. Now, in the 8th house, this represents shared resources and also your intimate life. So we'll start with your intimate life. There's a person here who shows up. They probably have Earth in their chart, and that would be Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus. They're honest, they're hardworking, they're reliable, they're dependable. And so if you're intimately involved with someone, they're a very steady personality. They're not the most exciting person, and they tend to be happy with their needs met. They're down to earth. So it's not like someone necessarily is going to blow your socks off, if you're in a sexual relationship, but that you Cancers enjoy that emotional security and that steadiness. And this person, doesn't have any agendas. They're, like I said, down to earth. What you see is what you get. Sometimes you may feel they're a little boring, like you might wish they were a little more romantic or exciting, but they are steady. If this is regarding any kind of shared resources, it just means that you have to plod along and go through the necessary red tape or circuits to get, what is yours. And that can be IRS, insurance payouts, inheritances, anything where, you have shared resources with another person. As long as you do due diligence, it says that, you'll end up in a position where, you'll get, the money that you deserve. Now, having said that, in your 9th house, this is the house of religion, philosophy, higher education. It's also the house for travel, publishing, and lawsuits or any litigation. And you have the card of being, sorry guys, that's the garbage pickup. You guys have the card of feeling dissatisfied. And so June is not a good month to travel for you. Definitely, don't take too many trips or don't take a long trip and have high expectations, because you will be seriously let down when this card shows up. If you're planning to do any kind of publishing or higher education, I would put it off in the summer, because this is the card where you really don't feel emotionally connected to something and your attitude is kind of like whatever. And so you're seeing more, what you don't have than what you do have. And this especially for anything with legal suits, you're just losing steam and motivation because you feel like you've lost so much already, and why bother? And so the card is not one of the best cards in the deck, and because you're a water sign, this is even more significant. And you may also, some of you, be dissatisfied or let down by philosophy, religion. You may be getting a little bit turned off or cynical in those areas of your life. So just focus on your good relationships. You have a lot of sweet memories and relationships that are good in your home. And I would put off travel, publishing, higher education until maybe after the summer, because this card shows that you really just don't have the steam or the hope that these things will work out. That's my cat again. Okay, now, in your 10th house, this is how the world sees you, Cancer, in your career. Many of you are going to be not working. This is the card of the matriarch. And Cancer does represent the nurturer and the mother. And I think these planets are also exaggerated. I'm sorry, this is exaggerated by the planets right now. One of the nodes, I think, is in Cancer. And so, many of you may be seen as, the matriarch of a family and a homemaker, a person that makes a lovely home and nurtures others. This is a love of the good things in life, the fine things. It can represent cooking, gardening, interior decorating, caring for a family. This is the good mother. And so many of you will be seen for first and foremost as the matriarch of the family. For others of you, you would still have these qualities, male or female, of taking care of others. So this could be HR, this could be real estate, finding homes for people and families. This can be any profession, chef, restaurant, where you're taking care of people. It can even be financial advisors because it is a pentacle card. So you'll be seen as a person that's very good with money, very grounded. What you see is what you get. A lot of common sense here and practicality, but mastery over the physical universe. So it's a very stable card. But in your fifth house of work, your sixth house of work, you do have this card of feeling somewhat neglected. Now, that could be about your health because the sixth house also represents your health. Because the Queen of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles, have very different meanings. One is the opulence and security of money, and the other is, the down and out in Beverly Hills poverty card. So maybe in your sixth house, some of you have felt neglected or cut off from communications regarding your health. And it may be more about your health in the sixth house than your money. Now, going to your 11th house, this is the house of friendships. You have a beautiful card here. This is the friendship, love, reciprocity card. So many of you Cancers are going to have a wonderful friendship that's going to, be stellar in the month of June, and you're going to be emotionally on the same page. There'll be a lot of back and forth, a lot of happiness. This is a card of balance. This is a card of friendship, a card of love. And so in the month of June, anyone who's a positive friend to you, spend more time with, because you do have in your partnership house a negative energy. And this doesn't have to be, like I said, your friends or your family. This can just be the work situation. But you'd like to balance that nasty kind of gossipy energy with a true friend. And the 11th house is saying you do have a good true friend. And then finally, your 12th house is the house where sometimes you have a blind spot. You can self-sabotage. It's the house that holds you back, that karmically you haven't mastered this lesson yet. And it's about shock and upheaval and upset. So again, Cancers, you love security. You tend to crawl back in your shell when the tough stuff starts happening. You're not a confrontational sign by nature. And emotionally, you're sensitive. So any trauma from your past, you may be reviewing this June. You may be mulling it over, what this meant to you and how it changed your life course or your direction, how it changed you as a person, how it might have limited and restricted you. So sometimes this can be post-traumatic stress, when it's in the 12th house. It's kind of like still what you're bound to, or like I said, you haven't recovered from or mastered. Now this shock or surprise probably came from the outside world. And because, like I said, security is important more to the earth signs than any other, but the Cancer and the water signs also significantly does not like upset and change. And so whatever this was in your life, And because, you have some memories in your home, whatever this shocking change was, I think you're reviewing it and trying to get a handle on it and see it from a perspective more philosophically, where it no longer affects your psyche or affects your emotions. I really think you're processing an old wound or an old upset from your past. And so you'll have to decide, what this card means. You do have the new money card, so for some of you it could be, a fear of shaking the boat and leaving a profession or a job or a workplace and moving on. For some of you it could be a marriage or a relationship, but your marriage looks pretty solid. With what's happening in your 8th house, in your intimate house, it looks like you have security with this person and stability. But it might be referring to, the fear of changing things yourself and shocking people, saying that, giving you 2 weeks' notice. Because Cancers, again, they don't like to hurt people's feelings. They don't like to be confrontational. So whether this big trauma or shakeup or surprise came to you in your life and you're reviewing it now to master, the lesson of it, or if it's you needing to summon up your own ability to shake things up, because like I said, you do have, a 5 here. This could be your health or your money in your 6th house, which is, not a great card. It feels like you're not emotionally supported. And then one of your partnerships tends to be a gossiper or a backstabber or just negative energy, catty energy. So you may need to summon, your inner power. And, some of you may have to make changes, and you'll be the one shocking, surprising others. But, you may not feel comfortable with that. You may be reviewing, how it worked out in your past or how you felt when you did it, and it limited you in some way or kept you somehow in a state of a prison. So you'll have to decide. Anyway, Cancers, your home looks great. I think your money is good, or you're going to get recognition, but I think you want more now, and I think that will be the focus. Also, your home looks very good. Cancers are very tied to the home and children, and many of you may have, your kids coming back, and they'll bring a lot of memories and happiness to you. So, focus on what's, good in this month. And I wish you all a happy and healthy, June. If you like my videos, please like, share, or subscribe. And I will catch you back here next month in July, Cancers. Take care. Bye-bye.